off on the right track today. Or maybe it'll just help you recalibrate. Take your mind off all the stress that's going on around you. Come on, you ready? Let's go.
Living out loud, living out loud. Loving out loud, loving out loud. Laughing out loud, laughing out loud. I want the world to know that I'm blessed. Hey, oh, hey.
Just very young as a minister. You know, I wasn't even minister yet, but I was asked to preach at a church, and it was a group of preachers, and they were talking about music in the church, and they were blasting music. They were blasting it, and I was sitting there cringing because I had to speak. And so, and they were talking about how secular music has no place and this and that, whatever. And I'm sitting there and I says, man, you know, and there was a lot of young people there. And I was like, God, what am I going to say? Because I totally disagree. And I remember getting up, and then I opened up and I says, you know, these words are responsible for me chasing after God. And I said, as today I know I'm living, but tomorrow would make me the past. For that I mustn't fear. For I know deep in my mind the love of me I left behind, and I'll be loving you always. And I asked them, where does that come from? People were giving me scriptures. And I said, that's Stevie Wonder.
Thank you.
Wow. It's a Stevie Wonder song that I heard when I was a young boy, and it exposed me to God. When I heard that song, I couldn't think of a woman. I thought about God before I was a Christian. So I just wanted to say that to you, how I appreciate you saying that, because there's still challenges today in that very realm.
Yes.
I wanted to mention that because, for one, I am so thankful that God sent, unfortunately, my father being ill had to be part of the process, and sent Oliver and Ben back from California to New York. But I was so thankful to be able to have them come and become part of the team, so that when I do sit down with the team that I have, and we begin to talk and to cast vision and to work on these pieces and to bring the elements together. And usually by the time we get finished doing what we do, and then we kind of farm out the pieces to the different heads of the department, so that and a lot of times the dance department, because we were always in such a vacuum when we do this thing, the dance department, the band, the singers, everything, nobody knows what the whole thing is till about the 2 weeks before we're doing it.
Right.
That's when everybody comes together and they see, oh, that's how that fits.
Right.
Then does his mastery of pulling those pieces together and making things flow from one into another. The way he can move a mass of people on stage and make it make sense. It's just incredible. It's incredible. But I'm so appreciative of that, because we are able to take what we've come to understand and know about the arts, about God's creativity in the arts, and bring it to the table and create something that is just, it's mountain moving, it's spirit moving, it's birthing people into the kingdom. And we're using things that folks have passed over, have said, no, you can't do that. You can't use that.
Right. And the impact of it, like you said, never have I been to a CCC production where there wasn't a massive altar call after the production. And then my mind goes to stories that we may never, ever hear, but someone at that altar call is taking Christ back into their home, to their family, to their community, on their job. And it's like a ripple effect. So we will never know the impact that those things are having. So the thing that stands out to me from the previous video that we were watching is how Noel talks about it was as if he was taking dictation. That is so powerful to me. It's like he was taking dictation as he was writing the music. So you know that is God. It's God approved. It's ready for the masses. Wherever it goes and it's going to bless somebody. That's important. Ben, we didn't get to Broadway. Did you see the video I posted of you accepting the award? Oh, the way you bounced up those steps, man. It was great.
Hey, watch it now. Watch it.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, because now I have a cane. You can
You bounced up those steps. I was like, look at Ben, man. It was great. I love it. It was awesome. But we didn't talk about, for you, was it a walking away from the industry? Was it a gradual, how was it for you after accepting Christ and really being at the pinnacle of your craft?
Yeah, you reach a point where, again, in hindsight, all I can say is sort of irreconcilable differences.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
A lot of what theater has become, what the arts, what showbiz has become, speaks to conflicts I was having in my heart then. Because very often, as a performing artist primarily, you're handed something, you audition for something, you're brought into a ensemble of workers who are interpreting and trying to, promote the message, the vision of that playwright and those designers, those artistic heads coming together. And very often it's not akin to your heart, but you recognize it as part of the industry, part of what you do, and you do it. Yeah, it's each area of showbiz has its own unique differences.
Okay.
Like the recording world is the only area of the industry where you're doing your work behind closed doors.
Right.
It's totally different. And you see the persona that come out of the recording world are very different than the persona that you see, especially in their celebrations at Grammys, Tonys, Oscars, than other crafts. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidelined. I will just say that it was progressive, my decision.
Okay.
When it comes, it's a decision. And it was so interesting. I don't know that I'd heard Elder P's contract issue as a final kind of nail in the coffin, if you will.
Yeah.
But interestingly, growing up, one of the people that I was greatly inspired by, for those of you who may be old enough to remember, but there was a duo that it was a trio. They used to come on Ed Sullivan called Hines, and Dad. And man, those guys rocked me because they were young men, not too much older than Elder and I were at the time, who were just unstoppable, amazing, singing, dancing, just performing on Ed Sullivan, which was like,
wow. Right.
Well, as the Lord would have it, the year in 1985, this is after Tony Awards and so forth, Gregory Hines and I were together in a project. And it was called Mr. Jelly Lord. Long story short, he went away to do Running Scared with Billy Crystal. I went off to do a first national of Tap Dance Kid out in California. Time went by and we were to get back together right away, but they lost the writer, blah, blah, blah. Finally, George Wolfe took it over. So it was like July 30th, I said, okay, Lord, that's it. I'm out of the industry. And like August 1st, I got a call. Producer saying, okay, we're going to Broadway. You have right of first refusal. It's you and Greg's show. Let's go. And I had to say, can't do it.
Wow.
And that was Jelly's last jam, for which Greg finally won his long overdue Tony, because the man was brilliant.
Right.
But we each have our moments where God will not only bring you to the precipice, cause you to jump, but then somebody throws you a parachute and you have to decide whether to take it or not.
Right.
And so it's just to really make sure you know what your choice is about.
Right.
Your choice is yours. And you asked if he might have done anything different. You asked me. I have to say in hindsight, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because whatever is now is based upon then. And there's a whole lot now that I am so humbled by in terms of what God has done in my life. That at 68 years of age, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I got the scars to just like what was that movie? The one with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Lethal
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
So in like Lethal Weapon 4, Rene Russo comes on the team. And he says, "Oh, you see that right there? It's a knife mark. Oh, that's nothing. I got a hatchet mark. Oh, that's nothing. I got gunshot. Oh, I got a bazooka. Oh, no, forget that. Atom bomb hit me." They start comparing scars.
I got all that. Right.
We got all that.
Right.
But the beauty is that they matter not, because the greater weight of glory, the greater weight of things that God has preserved that we could not preserve, relationships, family, children, your sanity, your marriage. I mean, these are the things that matter and that I believe give you weight, the kabod, as it's called, the weight and the ability to think, see, do clearly and effectively. By the way, one more thing I want to say. Together. 1964.
Oh, Lord.
1964 is when God put us together.
Okay.
I was 12, Elder Pointer was 12, and for those of y'all who don't know it, I was the big sister. She was 14.
Ah.
My Sunday school teacher, who lived down the block from Mrs. Pointer, was taking voice lessons from Mrs. Pointer and brought Mrs. Pointer to our church, St. George Episcopal in Bed-Stuy, to do a musical theater program. And she brought her family and all the children from the neighborhood. We had a cast of like 100 kids.
125.
Lord. It was a compilation piece called The Roaring 20th Century, which was a review of ideas, happenings from the turn of the century up until then. TV commercials.
Music, politics, entertainment, shows.
Joe Louis and Billy Card.
Guess who Joe Louis was?
Joe Louis was.
and I was 12, but the choreographer was this girl named Olive Pointer.
Okay.
Oh my God.
She had the prettiest legs I ever saw in my life. And I said to myself, I said, those are pretty legs. Anyway, she was a choreographer.
What did I say?
Get out of here. You're 12 and you ain't.
Get out of here, kid.
A little boy. I'm a grown woman.
There is a chasm between 12 and 14.
Of course. A huge chasm. Yes.
It ain't so much a few years later. Ow!
Ah.
But I just want to say that God put us together in a church musical.
Wow.
Yes. Our energies, our interactions first happened was in a church musical.
Right.
Wow.
It just, again, in hindsight, you see the marvelous and amazing hand of God. Nobody could write this. This is
Hand
Hollywood.
of God. It's the hand of God. No doubt. So yeah, that was something I meant to ask you earlier. And in my mind, I was like, okay, they probably met when they were like, in 20s or whatever. I did not realize you've known the family since you were 12 years old. Wow.
And we did that production on and off for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we lost track. And then when I was a senior at Music and Art, Noel came in as a sophomore.
Wow.
And so we rekindled our relationship.
And Billy and Noel had a band, and they decided they wanted to have singers. So Noel asked Ben and another young lady to come and sing some songs with them.
Wow.
Down in the basement.
Wait. I just want to say this. So I was at rehearsal and Olive wasn't home. Wait. I was 17.
Oh, it was a couple of years gone by now. Okay. All right. I'm ready for this story.
So rehearsal was over. And I said, I guess she ain't going to be. And as I'm getting ready to leave, I had my little jacket on, And she walked in the door and she went, "Oh, this is Benji?
What has happened?"
What has happened?
my God.
Have got to be dig.
There was
Wow.
no more chasm.
No more chasm. Chasm gone.
Chasm gone. Chasm erased.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so listen, guys, we're at 5:47. I've had you on here for 2 hours. But before we go, we must. Tanita, we have to talk about the foundation.
Yes.
Please
Woo!
explain the foundation to me, and not only the foundation that works with kids in the school, but are you guys working on some land and trying to build up an arts program? And I'm not sure where it's located. Is it in the city? Is it in Westchester? Where? Just explain all of that to me, please, yourself, and Elder Pointer, of course, has to chime in.
So the Noel Pointer Foundation was established in 1994.
Okay.
Oh, God, I can't even think.
Yeah, 94, 95.
1990. We were incorporated in 95 because this is our 25th anniversary right now. And when we started the foundation, we started to keep Noel's legacy alive because of all the work and his humanitarian, his everything that Noel was doing in the community. And of course, literacy for children was very important to Noel.
Nice.
And so that's when we started the foundation, because we also wanted to make sure that kids in under-resourced communities had the opportunity to learn how to play a string instrument. And we wanted kids to know that they were able to play and learn classical music as another culture, because that's something that we just don't do in our community. And so we started the program with 18 kids enrolled in the program at Bedford-Stuyvesant PS 44. Fast forward, we are now in 39 New York City public schools, and we have our in-house programs at Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration. And last year, we received a $6.5 million grant from the city for a firehouse, which is in Cobble Hill, that will house our music program. We have transitioned, even with COVID-19, we were blessed to be able to keep our programs running and to be able to continue paying our staff throughout these 3 or 4 months.
Huge.
And, the whole transition, it was difficult, but we were able to do it. And so we've actually checked, because we know that a lot of funding has gone towards COVID-19. We were thinking that maybe we would lose our funding for the firehouse, but it has been put on hold. And hopefully, come September, we'll know exactly what we will be doing in terms of starting the renovation of that firehouse. Thurston, first of all, if somebody would have told me this is something that I would be doing, I'd have to tell them no.
Right.
Because honestly, I mean, when Noel passed, you know, people were thinking that I was going to move back to New Jersey and be with family, but I have my family in Brooklyn. I have my work, and like Ben and like Elder was talking about how Elder said no to the contract. Ben stopped working in theater. At one particular time in 2000, I stopped working full time.
Wow.
And I just stepped out on faith and just said, you know what, we're going to just do this full time. And I wrote, because I write in a diary, and I wrote in this diary the things that I thought were pros and cons about leaving my job. And I knew that if I trust God, He's going to provide for us. And if we do what is good and what's right, He's going to meet our needs. And so from the very time that we've started, and I have to thank Pastor Bernard and Christian Cultural Center because they have been with us from the very time we've started. Times when there was no funds to pay our teachers, there would be a check in the mail
Wow.
that would cover those expenses. And up until today, I just can say God has really met our needs, where I've seen agencies that have shut down and are no longer in existence. But I tell you what, God has called me to this, and I'm just trusting him to see us through it.
Awesome.
And I just believe that. And I know that's what he's going to do, because he has done it from the time that I've said yes.
From the time I've said yes, that's a song right there. It's so amazing. It's so amazing to hear each and every one of you. Faith clearly is the foundation of this family. Your faith walk, the closeness of your family, how tight-knit you are, and your boldness, the willingness to step out on faith. And I said this earlier in the show, having spouses that are supportive and trust the God in you enough to say, all right, if that's what God is saying, that's what we're going to do, right? And not having a spouse on the side saying, I mean, they may say this, but, how are we going to make it? Yeah, you're going to have that discussion. What are we going to do? But not a spouse that's saying, nah, you can't walk away. We got stuff to do. We got bills to pay. So faith is clearly the foundation and what has carried this family and what has made this legacy happen. Like you said, Shanita, stepping away from a 9 to 5 and trusting God that, okay, he's going to provide whatever we need. Elder pointed, no, I'm not going to sign that. I'm not going to sign that last piece of that contract because God said, this is not for me. Ben, walking away, again, something that you were working on and expecting, and the way that God tests y'all is really amazing, because you make a decision on the 30th, and then on the 1st, you get a call saying, let's go. We're taking it to Broadway, right of first refusal. And still have enough faith in God to say, nope, I made that decision. This is what God wants me to do, and I'm going to do it. And seeing how he has blessed you guys with family. I didn't even get into the questions of children and grandchildren. I mean, the legacy continues. I mean, all of your children are just phenomenal. Like I said at the beginning, consistent, the same people every time I see them. So
You mean the same people in your refrigerator?
Yes, consistent with me, consistent with you also. Yes, absolutely. But I appreciate you guys. I love you.
Really quickly, I'm sorry
for spending this time. Go ahead,
Vaughn. I'm glad you spoke about the children, because I definitely wanted to shout out that the legacy continues.
Absolutely.
As we know, my boy Marty is a talented musician and songwriter.
Yep.
As Elder mentioned, that Bill was working in the technical field. And I believe Sheriff she and her husband are pastoring. Am I correct?
Well, they're no longer at the church they were pastoring, but they're in another ministry. But they are both ministers.
Wow.
Okay. And we want to speak about Jenny. I was fortunate enough. I saw Jenny in The Color Purple. I got to see her in Color Purple, and let me tell you. And when I was watching it, I was with my wife when we were watching it. And somewhere in the middle of it, it dawned on me who she was starring in The Color Purple with. She was starring with Jennifer Holliday, who Mr. Harney starred with. And I had to catch myself because I almost screamed it out in the middle of the theater when it dawned on me.
Yeah,
we just and Shanita, I don't know if your children are working in a foundation or.
Tell them what Danae is doing now.
Tell them what Danae is doing. Danae is doing, China.
Now, my daughter Danae is a managing director for the DNC.
DNC.
What?
DNC.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lord,
National
That's
Convention.
right.
oh my goodness. And the
Yeah.
legacy continues. The
And the legacy continues.
continues.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And she has a quick tongue and wit like her grandmama.
Oh yeah.
that's gonna work well for her.
Yeah, because Noel was also quite a political activist.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was. I mean, he was
Wow.
greatly
Oh, yeah.
responsible for what happened with the African burial site. He went to
Wow.
and spoke before, what was it, the Black Caucus?
And the
Congress.
Congress
Wow.
Congress.
Wow.
Yeah.
personally went out there and got thousands of signatures to have them block the construction.
Oh, my
He's the
goodness.
one that got everybody signed on, David Dinkins and all of the politicals in New York City, and then went down to Congress and testified about that to block the construction
Excavation.
that they would
there,
be that.
Wow. So it even goes beyond artistry, you know, politics and everything. I mean, it's just branching out. Again, Christ in culture, man. That's what it is. Christ in culture. That is, I mean, your family just exemplifies that. We love you. I mean, I hope you can feel the love coming from us. And I know it's not just us, but of course, the entire Christian Cultural Center family. We love and appreciate you. But even beyond that, you guys have had an incredible impact on us. And we just want to say we love you. We thank you. Thanks for spending time with us. And guys, so
Thurston.
thank you. My guys, Randy, Vaughn, Reggie, Darren, is there anything you want to say before we let them go? You good? You're soaking it up? Beautiful. We love you guys. It is now 5:59. We were here for 2 hours. We love you. Thank you so much, Elder Pointer and Elder Lily. Thank you guys so much.
Love
Ben,
you.
Olive, Janita.
We love
Please
you.
give the rest of the family our love.
Family.
And
Thank you, guys.
we hope to see you
Yeah.
guys in person soon, okay?
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Have a
Be
good
well,
one,
be safe.
guys.
Yes.
All right.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.
God bless.
Bless.
Bye-bye. All of you guys that signed on, thank you guys so much for joining us today. One of our biggest audiences we've had thus far. We ask that you will continue to come back. We're going to have other shows going forward about faith, about family, about health, about anything that affects our families here on Living Out Loud with Thurston O'Neal, and of course with my crew. So thank you guys again, and we hope that you're blessed.